Let's go inside the Email Sender Pro folder and then right-click on the Email Sender Pro exe file. Create a shortcut to the desktop. Double-click on our shortcut on the desktop. Now let's enter our license key and click the Login button. Our first tab is the area where the email sending process is started and we can watch it live. Our second tab is the SMTP settings and allows us to perform operations on sender emails. Our third tab is the area where we can select the type of email to be sent, prepare the content and various features. First, let's go to our SMTP settings tab and add our sender email addresses. You should already have the SMTP addresses and SMTP port numbers of the email services you will use. First, let's add the SMTP address of the email address we will use to the SMTP server field. Let's add the port number. Now let's add the encryption method. If SSL is not installed on your computer, select the TLS method. Let's enter our email address. Finally, let's enter our password. Let's check the SMTP connection. We have determined that the connection was successful. Now let's add this information to our program by clicking the Add button. The addition process was successful. Now let's quickly add other sender emails. You can add as many sender emails as you want. Let's save the email information we added by clicking the Update button to our database so that when you close and open the program, the information will not be deleted and will automatically appear on the page. It is very easy to edit the information we have added. Just double-click on the data you want to edit and make the desired change. If you want the changes you have made to be saved in the database, click the Update button again. Now that we have added our sender emails to our database, we can choose which ones to use for sending. Let's check the checkbox on the left side of the email address that we want to use as the sender. Now let's go to the Message tab to adjust the message sending settings. If we have a list consisting only of email addresses without names, then let's select the normal list. Select our email list from the window that opens by clicking the Upload Email List button and complete the upload process. First, let's send a message in text and select the text field for this. Let's enter our text in the subject section. Add your email message in the content field. If we want to use a sender name, enter a name you want in the sender name field. Finally, to reduce the possibility of spam in emails, select the Random ID field. This will add random numbers to the content of each email. We can now move to our first tab to start the email sending process. Before we start the email sending process, we need to make a few small adjustments that will reduce the chances of the emails falling into spam. First of all, let's set how many seconds it should wait between each email sending. You can set any time interval in seconds. When you set it to 0, it will send the next email without waiting at all. Finally, after sending how many emails, we set the Rotate Account field to switch to another email address. If we set it to 0, it will use the only account. We set it to 2 so that after every 2 emails it will switch to our other account. Now that everything is ready, we can start the email sending process by clicking on the Start button. The email sending process takes place quickly with 1-second intervals. You can watch live data on the right side of the screen. Here you can see how many emails were sent, how many were successful, and how many are left. The email sending process was completed successfully. Let's take a look at the incoming email and learn more about the features of the email we have prepared together. As you can see, the sender name appears in the incoming email. The title text in the subject section is also visible. The content of the email we send appears without any problems. Our Random ID addition feature worked smoothly and was automatically added to the email content. Now let's create an HTML email and send it. For this, select the HTML field. Let's add the subject heading. As you can see, the name is written in fancy brackets. Now let's select the list with recipient names field since we will use a custom list. Let's load our name and email list into the program. As you can see, the name that comes before the email address in the list we uploaded will be used as the name in fancy brackets in the subject heading. You can also use this feature when sending text messages. Now let's add our HTML mail template that we have prepared before to the program. The settings here are okay. Now let's go to our first tab to start the sending process. We have already made the sender email settings before, we will not make any changes. I will show you how to export the data in a moment, but for now let's clean up the program interface for the new submission process by clicking on the Clear button. I am not changing our previous settings, of course you have to make your own settings. Now I start the HTML email sending process by clicking on the Start button. The submission process was completed successfully. Let's now examine the incoming email together and understand the working logic better. As you can see, the name in our list and the name in the email address have been replaced by the name in fancy brackets in our incoming email. This creates a recipient-specific header format. Our email with HTML design arrived without any problems. It looks pretty good. Finally, let's export the data on the program screen as an Excel file. Let's click the Export button, select our recording area in the window that opens, then give our Excel file a name and click the Save button. Our saved Excel file looks pretty good.